Hello, my Italian food fanatics. Today, we're going to make a ricotta and fresh herb scramble. It's going to be phenomenal. We have 3 different herbs. We have parsley, we have basil, and we have chives. We're going to mix the basil and the parsley inside of the eggs first with a little bit of cold butter and our secret ingredient, which if you have watched any of my other scramble videos, you'll know is seltzer water. I'm going to start it off very, very cold in a cold pan and slowly bring it to temperature, and we're going to control the cooking with the ricotta cheese. We're going to add some parmesan in there. Going to finish it off with a little bit of salt and white pepper. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. But before we go into the kitchen, please thumbs up, like, subscribe, share with your friends, and leave a comment down below. All right, now let's get in the kitchen and let's make this soigné scramble. All right, let's get started. For our fluffy ricotta and fresh herb scramble, we're going to need some ricotta, some basil, chives, a little bit of ciabatta bread, our 3 eggs. We have some parmigiano-reggiano hiding back here, some parsley, and of course some butter. We're going to use some sparkling water as well as a little secret ingredient. If you've watched any of my other scramble videos, you'll know about that. So let me get all these things chopped and we'll come back with the eggs. All right, first things first, I've cut a piece of ciabatta bread. I just bought this at the store. One of these days I'll make a video on how to make ciabatta bread, and we're just going to toast this so that we can put the scrambled eggs on top. All right, here we are with our eggs. These are obviously brown eggs, and you know that the color of the shell is indicative of the breed of the chicken, not the quality of the egg itself. It can be white, it can be speckled, it can be brown, it can be all kinds of different things, but that's the breed of the chicken. The color of the yolk denotes what the chicken has been fed. These are free-range organic eggs. They're very, very high quality, but again, brown doesn't necessarily denote quality. So, what I like to do, if you've watched any of my videos with eggs, I like to break them individually into a bowl and then put them in the larger bowl. That way, if there are any anomalies or problems with the eggs, like there isn't one here, it's a lot easier to pull the egg or get rid of the egg or take the shells out of this smaller bowl than it will be if we need to do it from the larger bowl. There's our second one. That's good. And of course, the third and final egg for our scramble. And that's good as well. So I'll mix them up and we'll be right back. All right, we have our 3 eggs and we're now going to beat them pretty vigorously. We want to get rid of these streaks like this. And the more that you beat the egg like this, the more it breaks up these curds so that there's no white streaks in the eggs when we're done cooking them. It's a more homogeneous mass and it's more beautiful and appealing. So I'll do that and I'll be right back. All right, now that we've beaten our eggs, we are going to add in some butter in a second. We add in 1.5 tablespoons of seltzer water, which actually helps make it more fluffy. We have some parsley we're going to add in first, and some basil. We'll put our butter in there, cold, and we'll head to the stove. All right, here we are. Now, contrary to the way in which an omelet is made, scrambled eggs are best started off cold in the pan. So we don't even have the heat on right now. But what we will do, turn on the heat, and we want to keep it on sort of a medium heat and begin stirring continually until the proteins begin to coagulate and the egg begins to cook. And the reason why we want it on low flame is because we have control over the cooking of the eggs. So if they get to cooking too quickly, we can always take the pan off the heat and put it back on, thereby controlling the rate at which the eggs cook. The slower the better. So what we'll end up doing is cooking these eggs until they are ultra creamy and just before they fully come together. And mixing them like this also ensures that we'll have small curds and that there's not these big clumps of egg. What we'll do also is we're going to add our ricotta just prior to the eggs being done, and because it's cold, it's going to arrest the cooking process. So I'm going to probably fast forward through all of this, and you can just watch, and we'll stop when we get to the point where we need to add the ricotta and finish up the eggs. All right, as you see, the eggs are slowly starting to come together, and now is when we have to be very, very cognizant about the temperature. So I lift them up above the flame. I'm doing that for you. Normally I'd take it off to the side. And look, so they're almost literally done. They're still very, very, very creamy and nice. Look at that. Okay. We're just going to go another few seconds, and then we're going to add in our ricotta. In fact, we'll do that right now. A little bit right there. And that arrests the cooking process instantly. We'll mix that in really, really well. Take off the flame. Turn off the flame, that is. And look at this. That's a beautiful thing. Now we'll add in a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Mix that in. A little bit more. And since there's no heat, it's not going to continue to cook. We can just leave it this way. And we are going to add a little bit of salt, because I know this is going to need salt for sure. Just a little bit. There's a little bit of salt, of course, in the cheese, in the Parmesan. And we're going to add a little bit of black pepper, or pardon me, white pepper. Just a tiny bit, just like this. Mix it in. White pepper is pretty strong in flavor. So now we're ready to dish this up. Let's go. Hello, my Italian food fanatics. Well, you saw me plate it up, and here it is. Now it's the moment of truth. Now, believe it or not, this has been sitting around for about 2 or 3 minutes, and you'll notice there's no watery anything in there. It's all perfectly cooked and put together. So now let's give it a little bit of a taste. Oh, the small curds make it absolutely creamy. It's not dry. You can taste the basil. The ricotta there is in the background. I love chives. That little bit of black pepper, just a hint, is absolutely stunning. The Parmesan cheese. I'm telling you, if you want to make something nice for your mother on Mother's Day, it's coming up. Of course, these videos, I want them to be evergreen. But if you ever want to make something special for your wife or your children or your mom in the morning of something, especially if you have a family and you have to go from one place to another, this is something perfect to bring or to make at one house and then make something else, or you go for a meal at the other house. Really, really good. Now, Italians don't typically eat eggs for breakfast. They're more of a frittata for lunch or even for dinner. But here in America, we do have brunch and we do consume a lot of eggs. This is one of those perfect. I mean, perfect. It takes a little bit of work because you have to chop up the herbs, you have to get everything, you have to get the cheese, but it's worth every single second of your time. And that secret of starting in a cold pan and stirring, yeah, it's going to take an extra 3 or 4 minutes of your life, but the results, again, are worth it. Why eat garbage food when you don't have to, when you can make it yourself? Why go to some buffet at some hotel where there's a guy that doesn't understand anything about cooking? I mean, even the chefs in these places, the chefs, quote unquote, they have no clue. They don't care. They're just there to get a paycheck at the end of the day. It's convenient, that's for sure. But you'll pay a lot of money and you'll get so-so food. Do it yourself. You'll be very happy you did. You'll never go anywhere else. Anyway, I get off my soapbox. Please, thumbs up, like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you have friends that don't know what to make for their family and for their loved ones, or they want something different, this might be just perfect. And it's easy if you're really not that experienced in cooking. Leave a comment down below if you have a moment. I appreciate it. So, buon appetito. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Good stuff.